I have been talking about this for a while, and we'll see if my narrative arc continues. A lot of people like, oh, I'm glad we don't have to face Stafford and then no more Stafford talk. It ain't over yet, because I am predicting that the Philadelphia Eagles, that the LA Rams will win the last game. By the time you're seeing this, that game might be over. So hopefully this video is still relevant. Well, if you're seeing it, that means it probably is. But the Rams are started off 0-2, and I know y'all I don't want to talk about it anymore. We got to talk about it because that's the NFL. That's what the NFL wants. They want us to talk about it because what does that do? That equals ratings. What does that do? That equals money. The Detroit Lions have played in the top-rated games all season long. They own all the highest viewed games belong to the Detroit Lions. So could you imagine LA Rams, Detroit Lions, Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford coming to Ford Field in a game where the winner goes to the Super Bowl? You literally cannot write a better script. But we got time to talk about that. This video here is about the Rams using Dan Campbell's words from Week 18 as motivation in their battle against the Minnesota Vikings. Now, do I feel bad for the Minnesota Vikings? I don't, because their fan base is... When I went to Minnesota, I had a great time. They treated me great. But then we hear that we're pushing people's wives and we're booing kids and all of this other nonsense that I just can't buy into, right? So I'm like, so the Minnesota Vikings caught a stray. They caught a stray. The Rams are using Dan Campbell's words to Kevin O'Connell as they were heading off the field, shaking hands. We'll see you in 2 weeks. What else was he supposed to say? We kicked your butt. I don't know. Usually people say good luck, whatever the situation. He said, we'll see you in 2 weeks. And to me, that was a sign of respect. You know what? This was a battle. We are division rivals. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Like, I think Dan Campbell was trying to not be a turd. He was not trying to be a turd, even though he could have been, right? So the Rams apparently have put up in their locker room, or I guess they're taking something with them because they're displaced currently, or maybe it was in LA before the wildfires took place and ravaged everything. But they're using the Dan Campbell quote of "We'll see you in 2 weeks" to Kevin O'Connell as motivation against the Vikings. I'm like, dang, they caught a stray. The Vikings caught a stray. Now I could see if the Rams held on to that, and if, they win this game and blah, 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 if the Commanders wouldn't have won in wild card round, then we would be facing the winner of this game. And I'm going to be real with you. I'm glad that we're not, because A, it helps my narrative arc continue, and B, I'm over it. I'm over that whole thing. You know what I'm saying? And I personally wouldn't mind seeing the Eagles, somebody new, but I think the NFL wants to see the Rams. So I find it funny that the Rams are using a quote from our coach to take it out on the Minnesota Vikings. They straight up caught a stray. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny because the Minnesota Viking, I guess, play-by-play guy, I think his name is Paul Allen, something like that, which is ironic that he has the same last name as Brad Allen, who you will never see. You will not see. He will not referee a Lions game this season. I promise you that. He didn't do it all season long. They will not have him on the Lions game. It's too hot for the NFL, so you won't see it. But he said something after the game, because he was in Detroit, calling the Minnesota side for their fans on the radio. And he said, as the Lions were popping fireworks, he said, "Oh no, we got to be careful that we don't catch a stray from these fireworks." And I said to myself, catch a stray? Like, yeah, when you usually talk about catching a stray, it's a very specific connotation, right? And you talking about catching a stray in the city of Detroit. I don't know, man. I felt some type of way. But what do y'all think, man, of the LA Rams using a quote from our coach as motivation against the Minnesota Vikings? I say, I'm petty like that. So I say, do whatever you got to do. Let me tell you a little story real quick. Sometimes I don't feel like making content. I'm a one-man show. I run about 4 YouTube channels. I can't even keep up with them. I'm literally one dude. But I might see another Lions creator do something. I might see them make a video. I might see them do something, and I stop what I'm doing, and I make a video. I'm dead serious. When I don't feel like it, when I want to take a break, I can't because I use everything for motivation as well. We'll see if it helps the LA Rams and if they can get past and maybe set up that rematch. They got to get through Minnesota and Philly before that happens. But I think that's what the NFL wants to see. Maybe the LA Rams will use that same quote if they make it to the NFC title game and face the Detroit Lions. We'll see. But let me know, man, of what you think of the Minnesota Vikings catching a Dan Campbell stray.